Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another edition of our Vesto show. Glad to be with you again. And as always, it's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on which part of the world you're at. And hey, once again, we have a great lineup here on stage tonight. Obviously, it is my friend, colleague, partner in crime from the south end of town, Wolfgang Decker. They'd never leave me up here alone in the Northeast. So Wolfgang, good to have you again tonight.
Good evening.
Obviously, we do have a fascinating guest with us tonight, and this actually makes an entirely European podium tonight. I'm glad to have Jose Merino with us tonight from London. Jose, good evening.
Hi, Carsten. Thanks for
Good
having
night
me.
would be a little early, I guess, eh? But no, Jose is the CEO of Saurus.com, and if you Google for Saurus.com, you'll see it's a highly innovative banking solution, a solution that gives you a digital banking current account, that gives you prepaid master, that gives you the opportunity to transfer money very efficiently at very low cost. And yeah, obviously, as you saw from the title, from the invitation of our show tonight, this is exactly what we want to be talking about. We want to talk about how to embed crypto in what we call the normal kind of the normal kind of money system that all of us use on a daily basis. You see the title in the invitation, fiat on and off ramp. I guess, gentlemen, I think the first thing that we need to clarify is, for us, that's everyday lingo. But I'm still sure, many of the audience, when they hear fiat, they'll be thinking about, Italian cars, which might spend more time with a mechanic than actually on the road. But Jose, Wolfgang, it's not what we're talking about tonight, eh?
It isn't, no.
Fill us in, fill us in. What's fiat on and off ramp all about?
Should I get a go?
Oh, I feel like an exam question right now. So, gentlemen, what is fiat on and off ramp all about? And
I mean, basically, speaking about fiat, speaking about the crypto world, we have to acknowledge that for the time being and for the foreseeable future, and maybe even longer, there will be still the existing money system will be out there. And somehow we need to be interoperable with these two words.
And that existing traditional money system, that is what we call the fiat world, the fiat
Exactly.
Currencies.
So the fiat currency was the standard that replaced the gold standard. So it's our current monetary system, so to say. And the fiat on and off ramp are the off and on ramp to the crypto superhighway that Vesto is building.
So wonderful. I mean, Wolfgang gets, full points on the theoretical examination part on what is fiat on and off ramp. Jose, I'm sure you can tell us a lot more how the entire system works. What are we talking about? How does that work? How can somebody envision, this transfer between real money, crypto, back to real money?
Okay. Well, look, it's a good point. First, we have to go back a bit in history where, traditional money was actually paper money, coins that people use. Unfortunately, there's still many countries that use that quite a bit. I mean, in Europe, people still use actual cash. You go to South America, the amount is just a lot bigger. Okay, that is just habits, and habits don't change overnight. So when we're talking about moving from traditional money, I mean, bills and coins, to digital money, and we're still in the same fiat world because this is all still fiat. When you talk about US dollars or you talk about euros, it's all the same. It's all fiat, right? Now, you're talking to a person who's actually a pro-crypto man, although I'm in the fiat world. Not because we want to be, we actually were in the crypto world, but by license, we're not allowed to, because we need to have our own license to be allowed to do that in our fintech proposition. But just to give you an example of on-ramping fiat, typically you go to a bank and you deposit cash. It appears on your bank statement. So now you have it in digital form, okay? Now you can start spending it in the digital world. you can buy online, and you can go back outside of the world. You go to an ATM, you take money out.
You
so
take
basically,
cash out, exactly.
Off-ramping, right? Now, what is happening over the past years? Well, traditional banks actually want to focus where the profit are the highest. Typically, cities, coastlines, and moving away from less populated areas, or moving away a bit, let's say this way, from the inland outwards, except the big cities. So they take their office with them, but in many cases, they even take the ATM with them. So basically, you remove the possibility of off-ramping and on-ramping, money in or money out. Okay, there need to be solutions that bridge that move from traditional banks away from certain areas into the new digital world. So you still need to get them a way to put money in and money out, because people don't change overnight. I mean, in our company, we do that in the fiat world with patents. So first, get the idea right, see how we can solve a real problem, and we detected the problem. The first one we see is when a user opens a bank account, the first thing you will see is, can you please transfer money from another bank account? Hang on, it's my first bank account.
Exactly, you know, a transfer €20, £20, $20 into the bank account, huh? Woo!
Yeah. And you're talking about helping people get onto the digital world. They never had a bank account in the first place. Some call them unbanked, some call them young people getting older because they go to university. But at the end of the day, there is a big amount of people that are just unbanked. Actually, they're in the billions still on a global scale. Okay,
2.4 billion, Jose, is actually the number that is generally published on unbanked or underbanked, you know, which is always striking to me. We're talking about 1/3 of the world's population. You know, I mean, this is amazing.
You couldn't even imagine it. You couldn't even make it up. It's that big a number. So we said, okay, so we see that problem. People need to find a way when they open an account to put cash in. So we came up with a solution where actually nearby users that already have an account could just act as an ATM through their own mobile phone. So we designed the technology where you just literally open an account, take in $50, you give the guy $50, take it in, phones back to back, vibrate, and the money's transferred instantly in digital form. So now somebody who opened his first account just gave you cash. Since you have enough on your account, you help them get onto the digital world. Now that same technology we are going to use in our fiat world, there's no reason you can't use that in the crypto world. Because
in the crypto world,
whether you call it US dollars, euro, or you call it Bitcoin, or you call it USDT, it's all currency. At the end of the day, you know, it's something of value. If you can buy it, you can store it, right? So
absolutely.
In reality, you can use the same technology to on-ramp. Now, when we go back to the off-ramp, we found the same problem. So ATMs are leaving. So now you need to find a way to get money back out. Well, we actually found a double problem. Is the merchants are having the problem in the first place of small towns, because banks are leaving. They need to bring the money somewhere. But at the same time, they're not getting the service of having a physical banking office close to them, which they used to have. So they look for alternative ways. I mean, you have many competitors. You have PayPal, you have many others. So we came up with a solution that we think solves a problem, which is the cost of doing business of merchants. So we said, okay, so let's design our own one. And we filed a patent for it. Okay. And just to give you an idea, I mean, this is just a plastic we designed. Literally, it's a repeat. So you put the merchant's phone on one side, he takes an amount, $1.32. The client whacks the phone, bang, and it's paid for. No power needed, nothing. Literally goes phone to phone, straight onto the system. In our case, they're paying with fiat, but there's no difference of doing it with USDT, stablecoin. There's no difference. I mean, when you look at stable coins, and it's all literally backed one by one.
Exactly.
You can use it. I mean, you can just move it instantly. You don't need the banking system to do that. You only need the banking
system. Which is just taking off their share of the margin, you know, which is at the end of the day, money for an intermediary, which we don't need anymore.
Exactly.
You're moving away a bit of the piece of the action, but you're not really removing the whole system. You just replace a bit of it. You still need the money coming in and out. So both systems, in my view, they will coexist for quite a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Wolfgang, I mean, is stumbling in the cage already, to get out as well.
I was carefully considering how I should correct my moderator, my dear friend and moderator, Carsten, because you asked that question and you opened with, and you distinguish between real money and crypto money. But Jose already answered it. There is no difference. It's all bits and bytes in some computers, either in a distributed environment such as in ours in the DeFi world, or on some central bank mainframes. I don't care, but both is real money. And
I think that's the point we need to make, because very often a lot of people who are yet inexperienced with cryptocurrencies, they're kind of scared about that,
I mean,
for them, the fiat money is the real money and the rest is something strange, it's the same.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no difference.
As long as I can buy a real coffee with the crypto money, it's a real coffee and I pay it with real money. That's it. A simple definition. And yes, there is about the reliability of the issuer or who guarantees. Well, in the fiat world, the central bank guarantees. In the crypto world, somebody else might guarantee that. Let's take MakerDAO, for instance, issuing one or being responsible for one of the most dominant DeFi platforms. But on the other hand, the required rate to operate in their area is 150% collaterals for borrowed assets, which means that you can
look for any normal fiat bank or so and look at their collaterals.
Take a trip to Argentina. I mean, if I have a choice to take the unfortunate currency in some developing countries or be with MakerDAO, I feel more secure in the MakerDAO world. And this is still a very young nascent industry. It will grow, it will stabilize, and yes, there will be potentially one or the other currency that will not survive it, but there are mechanisms built into the protocols, into the system to protect the users, the currency holders, so to say, against losses, insurance pools, liquidity pools, and so on. And I think we should explain the difference, but we should never leave the impression behind that crypto money, in particular stablecoin money, is not real money. It is real money.
There we go. We make an official result of this discussion right now that crypto money is just as real of money as the dollar, the pound, the euro, or any other currency, and especially stable coins, like DAI or USDC, having significant advantages, especially over inflation-ridden currencies or something like that, which we'll be finding in the fiat environment in many countries of the world. So time to clean up with that prejudice about cryptocurrencies. Jose, you said what we can do with fiat currencies, we can also do with crypto. And obviously that was understandable because both is value, both allows Wolfgang to buy a coffee, buy himself a coffee. When we're talking about we can do it with crypto, just like we can do it with fiat currencies, what is the timeline on we can do it? Is that we can do it right now? It takes a little bit of adaptation of 3 to 6 months, or is it we will be doing it sometime in the future, like we think we will be sending people to Mars, but we don't know when?
I think it's sooner rather than later. I mean, in my view, the transition is already started. There is no stopping. Okay, and to a guy whose main business is the fiat world, right? So there is no stopping. So I even know that. I know for a fact we have to go back to the crypto world. The way I see it is going to be one and the same thing eventually. Now you have too much the crypto side against the fiat side. I think that the time disappear, it will just be one side. Okay, well, stop talking negatively about the fiat side, and the fiat side stops attacking them or putting hurdles onto the crypto side to become, which many did. I mean, some Some banks don't allow off-ramp when it comes from crypto originated back. Well, those things will all be ironed out, because at the end of the day, I think regulation can fix that. And I know many in the crypto world are against it. Look, without any regulation, it will be the Wild West. So
absolutely, yeah.
Let's help it. And in our case, we feel that KYC is going to play a major part in that. Because at the end of the day, you're going to comply with the same rules as everyone else. If we truly want to say that you have currencies, or you just have a storage of value that you can use, well, then you have to play all by the same rules. You have to apply anti-money laundering rules, the same know your customer rules. And once that baseline is understood and applied, I can't see it stopping. Because the reason for some players not to play the game is because, well, I don't know where it originated from. I don't know the source of funds. Those are the things that, in my view, are actually hampering it from going quicker. But there ain't no, because technology is fixing all these things. Okay.
Yeah.
Not long ago, you had to go to a physical bank to open an account, right? You don't have to.
Right.
Even in the fiat world, they're evolving too.
Yeah, we talk about the Revoluts, the N26, or whoever we're talking about in the world, huh? The Movens.
So that's technology. So I think both sides have a lot to help each other and a lot to give to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me stress one point, and you hear that from Jose. Jose is not just a brilliant financial mind, but also a very creative developer who has filed, I don't know how many patents. You know, Jose, do you still know from the top of your head how many patents you have?
I know how many I still got. I still got 11 patents, which I co-own with a major hedge fund of New York, who somehow was involved in owning the Argentina with some money. Okay, so it was part of that mess that Argentina eventually couldn't pay, and you know it took them so long to get out of it. But yes, I
just wanted to stress, you know, Jose really is one of the creative development minds also, which makes, you know, listening to him so fascinating to me. No, I think the two of you really made the point. You know, if there's really no difference, you know, in crypto versus the fiat currencies, then there's also no reason to have two different kind of financial systems. You know, what we're looking at is at an integration, and you know the points you stressed, Jose, points which are, you know, very important for us in Vesto also. Like, for example, we partner with on Fido to make sure that every holder of a Vesto wallet is fully KYC'd, and there's not going to be any Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, James Bond wallets anymore. You know, at the same time, we're
same company that we're using in the fiat world to do KYC.
See?
You see,
it's the same. Exactly.
See what I mean? It's already the same suppliers supplying both, and that is a good thing.
Both done. Yeah.
Well, I think the future world of finance will find a new role or a revised role for the banks. But on the other hand, one should also be wary of, I mean, when email have been introduced, we didn't believe that people would walk into a postal office at USPS in the States to print an email and then read it from paper. That has changed. Yet the postal service, and in the search of these online shopping activities, also in the light of the current pandemic, there is still a very important role for these to play. However, the premium letters, the first class letters, have declined dramatically because these letters are no longer written. They are sent via email. So the same basic banking elements you would not want into a banking branch just to withdraw fiat or to deposit fiat. And Jose has shared the invention, this NFC antenna bridge, this smart idea that simply you take your system with you for all kind of transactions. And I think this will go a similar way, if you allow that metaphor, then sending email around the globe will be processing crypto and digital payments around the globe. Yet there will be an important role for the agile banks that transform quickly enough to occupy. If they do not transform, well, then the question is, what can they do if they resist innovation? But that's a different discussion. We are not here to complain about the banks, right? But they will be an important player in that future world of finance, but with a revised role.
Jose, you agree? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, you only have to look at the reality. Okay, we can't ignore reality. If Morgan Stanley just recently announced they will allow their clients, wealthy clients, to access Bitcoin. Right.
Exactly. I was just reading that. Yeah, it was, I think, some Swiss bank also now doing the same thing. Huh? So it's moving. We see that. Huh?
So
it's moving. Yeah,
and these big players, and these guys, they make their money on a big scale. Okay, they do loans at a massive scale, right? They do leverage a sizable amount on their cash. Okay. On their balance sheet. So the leverage they have, there's not many in the globe who have that. Okay. So the crypto world big players, they still have to get to that scale. Okay.
True. Guys, we've talked a lot about what could be and what does the future world of finance look like, which is terminology we at Vesto obviously like, because we always view ourselves as the powerhouse of the future world of finance. Let's get dirty a bit, guys. Let's talk about, how it works. I'm a retailer. I don't know. I have my family-owned grocery store, which my grandfather has founded in, I don't know, Boise, Idaho, or something like that. I'm having my German deli store in Boise, Idaho. I know my customer is paying with credit cards. I know my customer is paying with debit cards. I know my customer is paying with cash, obviously. I know my customer is asking me to sort of write down the amount and pay at the end of the month or something like that. I know all of that. Right now, you're coming around the corner and you're telling me, dude, the way to go is now fiat on and off ramp. The solution for the future is crypto, and I'm standing there like, why? So what's the sales pitch? We always say it makes it more efficient, makes it cheaper for retailers. How does that work?
Did I get the question right, Carsten? You have that store and you want now that store to be to accept
exactly
payments, or do you want the store to be an on and off ramp agent?
Oh, wonderful. So there's a distinction between that,
Well, I think both has beauties and benefits.
Go for it.
Obviously the crypto, the cost of processing crypto is significantly lower than in the worst case, a card not present credit card transaction, or the cost of cash handling, cash in transit, any amount of cash that sits in your vault, in your enterprise, the smaller, the bigger, doesn't really matter, is dead capital. It doesn't do anything for you. And it's a safety risk. Maybe that's in Idaho negligible. I don't know. I've never been there. Don't know your deli store. And the second
you should try it.
And the second element is, if you, in addition to accept stablecoin for payments and maybe even pay your suppliers in stablecoin, making it more efficient, receiving payments also in stablecoin. If you act as the fiat on-ramp, let's just assume there would be some migrant workers or whoever that is being paid in cash that wants to bring the money as quickly as possible into the crypto world to earn some interesting DeFi yields. Well, that's the best thing to have, to be the place to go for people with money in their hand, and all is real money, if they frequently need to enter your store to use your on-ramp, because people with money in their pockets spend money, right? So
very likely they'll be buying frozen pizza,
whatever,
nachos and the
You
beer
would not
with
get
it.
nachos in a German deli store, Carsten.
That's true. That's true.
That's
You know,
true.
German
And no
bratwurst,
pizza,
of course.
please.
You know.
But I mean, you get the idea. If you are the place to be or the place to go with cash in your hand to on ramp, or with desire to off ramp, if you are the first, if you are the top of wallet kind of address to always go, what else do you want? You have loads of happy customer that very frequently visit your store in days where everybody else is ordering the frozen pizza online. Well, you have customers that frequent you. Now, you're the marketing professor, but what is the value of such a
It's wonderful.
yeah.
It's wonderful. So what you're telling is, first of all, you know, accepting crypto as a pure payment vehicle helps me reduce cost of cash handling, you know, transaction cost of money. And second of all, and this is what the marketing mind inside myself obviously loves, is, you know, on and off ramp agent. And you know, we work as a magnet for people with money. You know, people need to go there to do what, you know, the others, the not unbanked, for example, would do at their ATM, at their branch office of the bank or something like that, to deposit money. You know, people come into my store, do it there, get it available on their account right away, you know, and are able to, you know, maybe even send it to, I don't know, Honduras or something like that.
Whatever. I mean, if
You
you
know,
do your
and
groceries, if you do your, if you have the money, if you are at the place, if you can use the opportunity to do your groceries at the same place, you will do your groceries,
wonderful.
right? So
And
that's
Jose, I got you right. You can do that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, with the technology we patented, we actually solve two things. One is it allows you, like I said, on ramp and off ramp with this passive thing. So even for small stores in the middle of nowhere, the key thing is here: do these people have internet? All of them. And this is what we forget, because this affects the crypto world just as well as the fiat world. It expects everything to have internet, or it doesn't work. Okay. So we sometimes jump a hurdle thinking we're already in the digital world, and it's getting into it that is so difficult. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
things we got to fix. So one of the things we fixed was, what about if these people don't have internet every day? Because, you know, they don't live in high dense areas. They don't have that much coverage either on the cell phone or on the Wi-Fi. So we designed an internet sharing system where handsets share between each other. So you can go to, like you said, to your deli shop, right? The merchant takes in, you come along, you say, well, I got no internet. Don't worry, you just whack and pay. And what they will do is this phone will just share the internet with the other one, executes the transaction and say, by the way, since you're here, why don't you spend 10 minutes reading your emails and buying some stuff? Now they got internet, go to the store. But you just fixed two things. One, they can pay. Two, they have access to the biggest encyclopedia in the world, which is the internet.
Right.
So the cost of entry becomes lower and lower when you apply technology to it. So now these little stores could do it, but you can do it just as well in the States, in, you know, inland, as you can do it now in South America, where the need is a hell of a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the issue I see a big issue, and this is probably a bit more amplified in the crypto world. But again, all these problems are solvable, and less maybe in the fiat world. There used to be huge swings in the FX between the fiat world. It's less and less. The world is more connected. So you have, but not those crazy ones. Now you have exactly the same as the past on the crypto side. You have these massive swings on Bitcoin. You can go in the morning and buy a pizza with 0.001, and, you know, 2 months later you can buy a car. I mean, you know, people need to get used to this. This is a massive FX swing that it can't last. Okay, and this is why stable coins, I think, are the first ones who are gonna help this. Okay,
right.
You don't have to worry. You're going to the normal people. All they want to do is pay for something or take money out or use that little shop that you say, the deli shop, for remittance, send money home.
Exactly. Right? Like I was saying, off to Honduras in 15 seconds for, you know, very limited fees, huh?
But I mean, the same fee could apply in both if you use the same technology. You see, if you think about the fact that both are just digital bits that you're moving, it's just in USDT you're moving, or whether I move a real US dollars electronically, actually there ain't no difference. Yes, and one moves through the banking world and the other one moves through the blockchain world. But at the end of the day, if both could be the same company, it would make no difference, would it?
And Jose, I'm absolutely with you. You know, for what that takes, obviously, is stringent regulation. You know, we need to keep the shady players out, and we need to have, you know, a working environment, so to say, which is stable, where everybody knows what is expected from us, but where we also know what we can expect from the regulatory system stability, you know, to help us create this future world of
Absolutely. You need clarity. Well, once the regulators are clear in what you can and cannot do, and the playing field is the same, I think it will just take off like a rocket. There ain't no stopping. I mean, in 10 years from now, we'll just be talking about different currencies. That's what I think. I mean, just look at the massive impact. I mean, something, and you guys in Germany will know for sure, because it was actually a German professor who made that statement earlier today, is we can't have Facebook control a currency, a private company. Why? Because this was traditionally done by governments. Or
done by governments, exactly.
So if the governments make the regulation to allow private companies to do that, you'll all be on the same playing field, okay? Because you can regulate that one the same as you do in a fiat world. So I got nothing against any particular company becoming big. But yes, if it becomes systemic, you could be a liability to the economy, so you need to be regulated. Okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, the banking crisis back in 2008, 2009, you know, that was a massive, massive hit. But it can happen the same in the crypto world. And it can just inflate, and then you get a bang.
Absolutely, yeah.
At the end of the day, people need to be protected, and you need at least a minimum, a minimum regulation. And it's good for everyone. So there's nothing wrong. All right.
So regulation, by definition,
sorry.
I wanted to add, regulation is by definition not wrong. Just regulation needs to find ways to keep up with the innovation.
Yes.
So one of the main reasons Bitcoin developed the way it has developed, and don't get me wrong, I'm not at all against Bitcoin, was in the beginning it was just out there and nobody understood what it's all doing, and it found its way into areas of trade, of commerce, of online commerce that we maybe do not want to speak about in public.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, we used to have 80% of all Bitcoin transactions taking place in the dark web, period. You know, that's what it was. However, we also have to say, with Jose, what you said, you know, with KYC and all the wallet operators becoming stricter, you know, obviously those days are long gone. You know, so right now we are talking about that being just another currency.
It's
with a high volatility though.
The dark web volume of Bitcoin transaction is negligible by today. However, the reputation in the market is still kind of linked to the old days. And the way Jose has designed his platform and we have designed our platform is there is no Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous on the platform. Everybody is fully banking grade, KYC. We apply regulation that's not even fully clear if it's applicable to us, but we just use it.
We do it.
Side. But regulation, there will be another trend that's called RegTech, not only fintech and insurtech. There is a need for regulatory advancements, and this is also one of the things we will see in the next couple of years, I would assume.
And we see that developing already, you know, helping also the players like us to make sure we comply with all the rules and regulation in a, Jose, as you said, a globally connected, you know, financial world.
Yes. My hope is, Carsten, if I might add this last sentence, my hope and my expectation is that the regulator this time does not try to prohibit it, because then there will be players that move back to the dark side of the moon, which we don't want. As long the regulator allows companies such as Saurus and Vesto to grow on the bright side, it will be fully transparent, it will be fully regulated. And of course, if the regulator has smarter ideas than today's regulation, we can always improve and fix issues, shortcomings that are unknown for the time being. But the worst thing to happen is that an economy like the US or the European Union try to prevent that innovation to happen, because then somebody on the planet will do it. And a global financial future world of finance, being a cloud-based, let's say Ethereum blockchain type of thing, you can't
will not be traceable anymore, will not be stoppable anymore. Yeah. Exactly. No, I agree. And I think, you see, at the end of the day, the point is going to be, will regulators really be focusing on their original job, which is creating secure and efficient markets? And obviously, more than ever before, this will be going along with, innovation and, to a certain degree, anticipating innovation as well. Or will the regulator try to protect incumbents, try to protect a system being, then, there is the risk that we will not have the integrated system, which the two of you have talked about, where crypto and fiat currencies are just different currencies and that's it. Then we might in fact come up with a parallel system with the bright and the dark side of the financial system. And at the end of the day, that can be in nobody's interest, not at all.
The dark
Gentlemen,
side of
the dark side of the moon. Gentlemen, I know time flies when we're having fun, as always. I don't know about you, but I already feel the cold breath of Travis in my neck. This is always what's happening around this time, when he says, dude, you got to come to an end. But obviously, I won't let you go off the hook so easy, because both of you have already attempted a look into the future. If I was to put the two of you into a time machine right now, 5 years ahead, where do we stand with the integration of the crypto and the fiat world? And how am I going to be running my deli store in Boise, Idaho?
Okay, maybe I'll go first this time. So 5 years from now, the way I see the future is that users will get used to it. And the way we market things are going to be a hell of a lot different than we do now. We ain't going to talk about the word crypto. We're just going to talk about digital currency.
Yeah. Right.
It's too divisive. It's we're crypto and you're fiat. No.
Yeah.
You're going to pay just with currency. Which one would you like to pay? No different than today when I go and pay.
We also don't say pound, dollar, euro. Yeah. It's all the same, huh? Yeah.
It asks me in my ATM when I go take money out, you actually want to pay in euro or in pounds? Well, just ask me 2, 3 more, right? This is the way I think these big companies will follow that route. Some small ones may not survive. I think technology is going to have to be a factor that drives this through. And then it's going to be a fact of, is there enough capital available for the company to survive? And this is key. This is not just about having only the best technology. If capital is driven away from it, it won't survive. My view is capital will drive towards those that will bring those together. And that's my opinion. They will get a lot more capital than those than just going, against the tide. Well, we're the new world, you're the old world, and vice versa, right? But
which is a very bright vision of the future, Jose, and I would assume, Wolfgang, you're not even too far away from that vision, huh?
Not at all. I think, as Jose mentioned, it is just another currency. It's all digital currencies. We will see more and more CBDCs also, central bank issued digital currencies. And one element which has already started in the crypto world, which is obviously ubiquitous in the fiat world, is the interoperability, and the different projects, and I'm always referring to Ethereum as an example, and the basis for Vesto and Polkadot as another example. It's not, are you running on one or the other? The question will be, are you interoperable? And this is a massive It's not a hygienic factor. It's a must-have to be interoperable. And then obviously, if the central banks decide to deploy railways for their central bank issued digital currency, that's another challenge for interoperability.
Right.
That can be easily fixed with technology. So it will be integrated, it will be different currencies, all will have pros and cons. But I mean, having worked in Switzerland, living on the German side of the border, I got paid in Swiss franc. I spent money in Deutschmark in this time. That was, I mean, it's normal, and
Right.
it will be totally normal that you have different currencies in your wallet moving forwards. One will be a CBDC, and one will be a stable coin, and maybe for the foreseeable future, I'm also certain for the foreseeable future, people will still carry cash. Maybe the next, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years. I don't think cash will be out of fashion anytime soon.
Bright vision, gentlemen. Bright vision sounds really like a nice future world of finance, a world of finance in which we're going to have a whole, a selection of currencies available, of fiat currencies, of cryptocurrencies, of stable coins, cryptocurrencies pegged to fiat values, in which there's interoperability between the systems, and at the end of the day, to the benefit of the customer, to the benefit of the merchant, to the benefit of everybody, wanting to take up the innovation which is in the system, which is in the industry, and lead that further to, create this future world of finance, which, as we always say at Vesto, we'd love to be the powerhouse of. And it's great to hear from you, Jose, to understand, how this interoperability is in fact already technically possible, so we can rather quickly, create solutions like that.
I
So
agree.
gentlemen, having said that, the breath's getting colder. It's like I'm getting a really stiff neck right now. So, gentlemen, all I can say right now is once again, thanks so much for a fascinating discussion. As always, I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well. Jose, what you don't know yet is we have a wonderful tradition. Travis always speaks the final blessing, of the Vesto show. So, hey, I'll turn the altar over to you, my friends.
Well, when you say crystal ball, I can only think 3 years out, because the SEC says it's a tax holiday, safe harbor for DeFi for 3 years. So that's where my money is.
No, there we go.
I mean, that said, Jose, thank you very much for being on the show. And I think your technology has, it's going to spread very, very fast. I mean, the day when you can walk in a market and buy something and get a percentage of that money instantaneously back in your account, and then with Vesto you can put it in DeFi. It's like, what's your 401k? Oh, I just buy things. I put it in DeFi. So it's a phenomenal use case, and we're so excited to have your show. And Wolfgang and Carsten, wonderful today. Great concepts and discussion. By the way, everyone, this will be recorded and be on our website in the next few days. And we're going to sign off now. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good remainder of the week. Bye-bye.